Oh, let's check in with Stuart Stevens. So people remember that Stuart Stevens came on this program. When was this? Do we remember when he came on? Was it before the election or after?
August, I think.
August. And then Stuart Stevens on because, he wrote a book that was supposedly the sort of the most contrite. And he was a nice man. Came on. And let's play this clip from Mehdi Hasan. He was on the Mehdi Hasan show. And I found this sort of amusing. This, of course, a lot of things have happened with the Lincoln Project that have been exposed since August.
But I do have to ask you about the Lincoln Project while I have you, which in recent weeks was rocked by allegations of a cover-up of sexual misconduct by one co-founder, side deals worth millions of dollars to its principals, plus a variety of other recriminations, accusations, departures, resignations. Last month, Kurt Bardella, who was a Lincoln Project advisor like you, tweeted, quote, "Just shut it down already. It's over." And another ex-advisor, Susan Del Percio, she told me on this show last week, well, have a listen to what she said.
The Lincoln Project, well, I don't know how it survives this. This reporting just shows how dysfunctional the Lincoln Project has become. The people at the top are disappointing, to say the very least, and I just hope they're not found to be criminals.
Stuart, your own former advisors are hoping you're not criminals and calling for you to be shut down. Where does that leave your organization?
I couldn't disagree with that more. I think it's an absurd allegation. The Lincoln Project was the most successful super PAC in the history of America.
Oh my God.
These guys, and they wrote an op-ed and the movement showed up. They have millions of supporters. They have over 500,000 donors. So. They've had a tremendous impact in where we are now. And I think that this idea that somehow or another that you expected the Lincoln Project to be something that would be like a perfect organization is unrealistic. This is an organization that had 10 people at the end of May.
Oh, come on, Stuart. Stuart, come on. There's a big difference between being a perfect organization and what the accusations, very serious accusations, that have been leveled against the Lincoln Project. You know that.
Let me talk, please. There is a report that's being investigated about what happened with John Weaver. I think that taking that step shows that they believe in transparency. Let's see what that report says. But the Lincoln Project is something that is bigger than any one individual. It is really something that has become a movement, that is a pro-democratic movement. And there's a lot of people that never liked the Lincoln Project, never liked the way we operated. The fact that we didn't spend, believe that millions and millions more dollars spent on advertising in one market would make the difference. We believed in asymmetrical warfare. We destabilized the President of the United States' campaign. I think that what we did, the effectiveness of it, speaks for itself. And that's going to continue. And look, this country needs the Lincoln Project. We desperately need a vehicle for people to come together. Fight what's going on.
I understand the arguments you're making in favor of the Lincoln Project, although a lot of people will raise an eyebrow when you say it's the most successful PAC, because they'll say we haven't seen evidence that you actually kind of change votes on the ground in states. But I need to pick up on the donations point, because we're out of time, but you made a point about donors. You did raise a lot of money, $87 million, I believe the Lincoln Project raised. And of that, 27 million, according to the New York Times and other reporters, went to a firm owned by co-founder Reed Galen, so he could split that money with other founders, Rick Wilson, Steve Schmidt, John Weaver. Do you understand why people are upset about that, and why they're wondering how much money did you guys make? Did you make millions as well?
That's absolutely not true. The way this works, and a lot of people don't understand this, but if you look at any super PAC or any campaign, it works like this. It was no different than the presidential campaigns I worked in. What Reed Galen's company, Summit, was basically a general contractor. And they had lots of subcontractors, and they built a mansion. They built this incredible political organization that's out there.
I bet you lots of
the proof here is over 300 videos we made with billions of views. We had impact across.
But
how many have we made?
I understand. I'm not questioning it. I'm just saying you guys made.
I'm sorry. So I just want to refute this because they have literally studied the effectiveness of these Lincoln Project ads. There was another study, I'm blanking on it though, that said that, positive Biden ads about healthcare and the economy had a way better positivity rating with the respondents than Lincoln Project ads. But Priority USA They conducted an experiment to look at the effectiveness of 5 Lincoln Project's ads on the most recent election cycle. The Democratic Super PAC found that the more popular an ad was on Twitter, measured through likes and retweets, the less likely it was to persuade a battleground voter to vote for Biden over Trump, according to the Daily Beast. The most viral ad on Twitter that the experiment included, which had over 116,000 retweets and more than 210,000 likes, performed the worst when it came to persuading voters.
Absolutely. These were just geared towards the people who were paying them money. They were just turning around and making videos for the people who paid them money. And
it was
not
emotional releases for boomers that hated Trump. That's exactly what it was. And then the owners.
It was like a crowdsourced media company, basically.
Yeah, except for yes, exactly, a crowdsourced media company for your and the idea. First of all, here's the thing, like, and why I think Stuart's answers are a little bit suspect, just in terms of his own credibility. He came on and he made the point to me in August that these guys could have made more money. I think I said, so you guys are sort of like mercenaries. Well, listen, if we were mercenaries, we'd go work for Donald Trump, right? Because we could make millions. There is no way that $27 million that went to that company. I know how this works. I know what a general contractor does. They take a percentage of everything they farm out. I also know how much it costs to make 300 videos. I mean, give me a break.
And they've looked at the overhead compared to other PACs. And like they did this on the CBS thing, tuning out the news or whatever, and they confronted Rick Wilson.
And that was early on. That was super early on. I mean, they
found that like 80% of or nearly 90% of the funds they went to overhead, which was also, going to swanky hotels, going to rooftop bars.
No doubt.
It's just like going directly to the founders, etc. It was a grift.
And let's be also clear. Like, not only do I have no doubt that the principals made millions of dollars, they also, if they hadn't had this situation where apparently one of them was a predator, or at least enough to launch an investigation, they would have gone on to leverage that money as the seed money for an entire media enterprise. I mean, this was I'm sure Stuart Stevens felt like he was doing the right thing. But I mean, he is now sort of like hanging on in the same way that he would protecting a campaign. Good for him, though. He's the only one who probably go on that show and at least address the criticism. The rest of them are just sitting home rolling around in their money.
It was so transparent at the time. And, there's not much more I love than being vindicated. And I very much have gratification about the debates I'd have with liberals about how much good the Lincoln Project ads were doing in order to persuade voters. And, it doesn't matter that they were Republicans in the Bush administration. They've turned the corner and they're working to get this monster out of office. Turns out they were just stealing people's money and didn't do anything to get Trump out of office, and actually were creating a very toxic enterprise in the process.